Cijenjeni gledatelji sportske televizije, kao što vjerujem znate, u Splitu se ovih dana održava 35. Europsko prvenstvo u vaterpolu, najveći sportski događaj u Hrvatskoj za 2022. godinu, u kojem najbolji europski vaterpolisti i vaterpolistice pokazuju svoje umijeće u prekrasnoj Spaladium areni. Organizacija tog prvenstva je zbilja na vrhunskoj razini, atmosfera u Spaladium areni je prekrasna, naročito kada igra Hrvatska. A na tribinama je mnogo poznatih lica, sportskih djelatnika. Jedan od njih je naš gost, ugledni gospodin Spiros Capralos, predsjednik Europskog olimpijskog odbora, predsjednik Grčkog olimpijskog odbora. Mr. Capralos, welcome to the sports television in Croatia, welcome to Split. My first question is to you. You are here as a guest of LEN, of the European Aquatics. How do you like Split? You've been here before, and how do you like the European Water Polo Championship?
Well, it's true, I've been here in the past. I competed here as an athlete, as a water polo player, at the time when Yugoslavia was all together.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to be here at the finals of the European Water Polo Championships. And what I've experienced up to now is something incredible. Incredible because yesterday I was present in the semi-final, a fantastic game. Very tense, very dynamic, with a victory of Croatia and having 10,000 people there. The stadium was full. People were very enthusiastic. They created a fantastic atmosphere that we need in our sport. And I saw the joy in the faces, not only of the normal people, but also of the old players with whom we used to play together and were there in the pool, and they were so happy. It was incredible yesterday.
Your water polo is your basic sport. How do you think about the quality of this European Championship in female competition and men competition?
I think I came to see, and always we have a very critical eye to see what's not working well. But this time the organization seems to be very good. Everything is working well. The television is producing a good signal. The sport presentation is new for water polo, and it's very good, very attractive. And speaking to the players, they are very happy for the conditions here. And I think it shows that Split and Croatia can be great organizers.
You're familiar also with the other sports and athletes. Beside water polo, what is your favorite sport? Can I say that, or you have maybe few of them?
I like many sports. I'm a sports person. I like water polo because that's in my heart. I used to play water polo, but many sports, I follow all of them. And usually in the Olympics, I try to follow every sport. Yeah. So in Tokyo, I was everywhere. I was even present when it was an all-Croatian final in double men's, where Croatia got both gold and silver, which was something incredible. It's very difficult to repeat. And also I was there when in the rowing, and I presented the medals, because you had the rower who got the bronze medal in the single.
Damir Martin, yes. Of course. We are here to talk a bit about your one of your main jobs. You're a chairman of the European Olympic Committee, and you're trying to build up European Games as a brand, as something which shall be a major sports event. What are your plans with the European Games?
I want to say that the European Games, the father of the European Games, is somebody from Croatia. The president of the Croatian Olympic Committee, Mr. Zlatko Mateša, who had the idea, and not only the idea, but he led a working group to create these European Games. And I think his idea was very good. Now we are ready for next year to have the third edition of the European Games. And I think it's a product that's developing, and it's becoming better and better with every edition. What do we have in the European Games? In the European Games we have most Olympic sports. They happen 1 year before the Olympic Games. For many of those sports, it serves as qualification for the Olympic Games, something that secures the best athletes of Europe to be present and to do their best in order to qualify for the Olympic Games. And then we also have some sports that are non-Olympic sports, but we see potential in them and we try them. Because as you know, the International Olympic Committee is trying to develop new sports, sports that have more appeal to the young generation, And therefore, we are the ones that we started first by testing some of these sports. So in Krakow, we're going to have new sports. We did that the same in the first edition, second edition. And I think this is a right model to move ahead.
Can you tell me how the preparations for Kraken are going on? Is it everything going on schedule, everything okay?
We started, and it was difficult times because, first of all, we had the pandemic. For 2 years, it was very difficult to move ahead. And also, we had the new blow this year with the war in Ukraine, something that, and Poland is in the border of Ukraine. So it's something that creates more difficulties in the organization. There are about 4 million refugees going to Poland, some of them in Krakow. So things are becoming more complicated, but the Polish people are very good sport organizers. They have demonstrated that in different sports. The government is committed, the president of the country, the prime minister, the various ministers, and the marshal, and also the mayors of the cities that are organizing the games. Therefore, I think with the cooperation and collaboration of all different parties, we'll end up having very successful European Games. I'm confident of that, and it remains to be seen because time is running out. We have only 9 months for the Games.
I must ask you, there is an idea that Split here, Croatia, hosts the next European Games in 2027. You know about the idea, you know that the initiative from Mr. Zlatko Mateša and the people from Split. What do you think about that idea?
I think that, and from what I see, and also I see the organization now from the water polo, that first of all, Croatia is a sport nation. Croatia can be a good organizer. You have organized many good events. I know that there is already existing sport infrastructure, which the European Games will help to renovate and improve the current condition of the sport facilities that you have. It will give you the possibility also to improve the infrastructure of the city, like roads that require some things. And I think that it can be a very successful organization. But it remains to be seen. It requires cooperation between government, Olympic Committee, and the local authorities. And I think if you all embrace this idea, it can be something very good and beneficial also for the people of Split, not just for the Games, but for the day after, because we don't require to spend money and construct new facilities, sport facilities that are not needed. We require that you do whatever is necessary to improve the existing infrastructure, to improve the dormitories of universities that are helping for the day after the students, where legacies that will be for the future of Split and Croatia.
You're a very good friend with Mr. Zlatko Mateša. Can that help in this idea? Of course, it's necessary to have, as you said, to embrace all the people, all the institutions to have Split as a host of the European Games.
Listen, Mr. Mateša is a person who's one of the top leaders of European sport. His opinion is always very much respected. He has a great personality. And of course, whenever Mr. Mateša speaks, the whole of Europe is listening very carefully. So I think this will play also a very important role, because if Mr. Mateša comes and he shows a commitment, I think that many people will believe in him, and through Mr. Mateša you can be the next organizer.
There is also another thing going on in Europe recently. The Eurovision Broadcasting Union organized the European Championship in Munich. What are your relations with that multi-sport event, and is it possible to work together in the future?
Yes, the European Games and the European Championships, they are not competing with each other, because European Championships are happening 2 years before the Olympic Games. And in our case, we decided to move ahead and become strategic partners with the EBU. I think it's important because what is more important is for the Games to be and to go through the televisions to every household in Europe, so that people get more aware and people get more familiar about the European Games. Therefore, I think they are complementary events. we can work together, I think, for the promotion of sport. And sport and multi-sport events, there are not so many. They give a unique opportunity for the athletes to experience what it is to compete in multi-sport events, especially because the year after they go to the Olympic Games. So they get a training how it is to live together with other sports and to live in a big event. So I think this strategic partnership with EBU is going to be beneficial for the European Games and for EBU.
There's also lots of talks about the European model of sport. Can you explain something about it, and can that improve the level of sport in Europe?
We believe very much in the European model of sport. We believe very much because this is how sport has progressed in Europe. And I speak about grassroots sport, where a child starts from home, goes to the club, and from the club trains, and they get coaches, they get facilities, they go to competition where they need judges, referees. So all this sport model that is governed by a federation in each sport is at risk right now, because business interests are trying to take over the elite sport in some areas, and in order to make money, they only care about that. While federation and sport organizations, like European Olympic committees, we care about the development of sport for society, the development of the children, the love and passion for sport, and not just the events that can only make money. So this is something that we're trying very hard to convince the European Union and to convince everybody that we need the existing system that we have.
Now you answered my next question practically. That is certainly one of the priorities for you as the chairman of the European Olympic Committee. But there are always in sports some problems. What are the biggest problems for the European Olympic Committee in sports? Is it doping? Is it match fixing? Something like that? How can we improve that?
Well, we always have challenges, and through time they change. Doping has always been a constant threat, and we have zero tolerance in doping, in cheating. And game fixing is also a form of cheating. So this is something that we are fighting, and this is something that we have to be alert to protect our athletes, and also to be able to punish the people who are responsible, because it's not only athletes, it's coaches, it's doctors, it's people who are helping the athletes to cheat. And it's something that we do not tolerate. On the other hand, there is always now, with the financial difficulties that the countries of Europe are having, I think that financing of sport is becoming increasingly more difficult. Governments sometimes prioritize in giving the funds and sourcing it to other directions and not into sport. But what we know is that sport, and I mean not elite sport, but sport for all, is very important for the health and the well-being of people. And every €1 that is spent today for sport saves in the future for every country €7 from public health and hospitals and all these things. So I think it's a good investment to spend money for sport.
I will return a bit to Croatian sport. You know lots of Croatian sportsmen. What do you think about success of Croatian sport in total? Do you know some athletes?
Well, I think that Croatia is a sport country, and such a small country being ranked so high at level of Olympic Games. Like I remember in Rio, you got 8 medals in the Olympic Games. It was something, a fantastic record. But also in Tokyo, your athletes did very well. You have, except that you are very strong in team sports, and we know the football, of course. Yeah. But basketball is strong, handball is strong, water polo, of course, is very strong. But then also in individual sports, you have very good athletes in taekwondo. You have very good rowers. You have tennis players. So it's everywhere. So you feel that it's a strong sport country. And actually, when I use as an example for countries that are doing extremely well in sport, also with their size, I mean, and what I say is Croatia and Slovenia. I'm impressed by these two countries.
Great to hear that, of course. The Croatian Olympic Committee celebrates its 31st birthday these days. What can you, as the chairman of the European Olympic Committee, wish for the Croatian Olympic Committee and for the sports in total in Croatia?
What I would like to wish is that they continue their efforts, because they get the fruit from these efforts, and they are happy to celebrate these great victories of Croatian athletes. And I think that the victories in sport bring a lot of pride to a whole nation, because these victories of sport unite all the people, unite the different political parties, unite people of opposing ideas, because it's victories of the whole country. It's not just one party or the other party, or one minister or the other minister. And I think this is the most important that sport is bringing to the world.
Mr. Capralos, I would like to thank you in myself and for the sports television for having this talk, this conversation, and I wish you all the best here in Split and in your future endeavors, of course.
Thank you very much, and good luck to Croatia for the final.
Thank you.